When our products are competitive, we hope for free competition. When it is not competitive enough, we hope that policies will come out to protect them. Europe and the United States, which once held the banner of free trade, are no exception. After the US announced a subsidy of $7,500 per vehicle for electric vehicles produced in the United States, European automakers have also called on the government to provide support, otherwise, they will be defeated by Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers. Carlos Tavares, CEO of Stellantis, Europe's second-largest automaker, said in an interview a few days ago that the European auto industry is at a crossroads with Chinese competitors. If European policymakers cannot find an answer to that question, there will be a terrible struggle. After Guangzhou Automobile Group FCA withdrew from the Chinese market, Stellantis still has a joint venture in China, Dongfeng Peugeot Citroën Automobile Company Limited, which is still struggling. Carlos Tavares told the German newspaper Auto Week during the CES in Las Vegas. "I think everyone knows the reason. Germany is an important center of the European auto industry, including famous brands such as Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, and Porsche, which have a stronger appeal in Europe." In fact, Carlos Tavares is not the first to express the statement like this. Tesla CEO Musk said in a public interview that Tesla's biggest competitor in the future may come from China, not Volkswagen, Toyota, or GM. Makoto Uchida, CEO of Nissan Motor, said in his speech at the 15 million vehicle roll-off ceremony of Dongfeng Nissan that China is not only the world's largest market, but also the world's leading auto market, especially in the fields of electrification and intelligence. It has become one of the most advanced markets in the world. Why are they so afraid? Are China's auto companies really about to rise? Hi! Welcome to Auto Age. Before we started today's video, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Okay, let's move on to today's topic. China's new energy vehicles are 40% cheaper, and they are beginning to show their strength in Europe. How serious is the challenge China poses to the West? Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares said Europe's auto industry could suffer a severe setback and be forced to cut its European production capacity massively. This dire scenario could unfold if policymakers in Europe fail to find solutions. In fact, Chinese suppliers in Europe are launching vehicles that are competitive and very competitively priced, Carlos Tavares said. He largely confirmed what Forvia CEO Patrick Kohler said. Patrick said a day earlier that Chinese EVs were €8,000 to €10,000 cheaper than comparable European EVs. Carlos Tavares explained, "There is a huge price difference between European and Chinese cars. Unless the status quo changes, European mid-range customers will increasingly turn to Chinese models. The purchasing power of many people in Europe is clearly declining. The price competitiveness of Chinese electric vehicles has shown its power in the competition with Tesla. Since the price cut was announced on January 6, the combined prices of Tesla Model 3 and Model Y in the Chinese market are 30% and 43% cheaper than in the US market, respectively. Not only Tesla, but also Volkswagen, Volvo, Ford, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi and other brands of electric vehicles are sold in China at a much lower price than in Europe or the United States. According to a study by Jato Dynamics, an industry trend analysis agency, since 2015, the average price of electric vehicles in Europe has risen from €49,000 to €56,000, and in the United States from €53,000 to €64,000. However, in China, the average price of a car fell from €67,000 to €32,000, which is lower than the price of a gasoline car. In the European market, the price of electric vehicles is 27% higher than that of fuel vehicles, and in the United States, the price of electric vehicles is 43% higher than that of fuel vehicles. Chinese electric vehicles have begun to show their strength in Europe, and the price is much higher than that in China's domestic market. For example, the price of NIO ET7 in China is 458,000 to 536,000 yuan, and the price in Europe is 81,900 to 90,900 euros, which is equivalent to 606,000 to 672,000. Another example is that the price of BYD Yuan Plus in the European market is about 38,000 euros, and that of Han and Tang is about 72,000 euros, both of which are significantly higher than the prices in the domestic market. In the first 11 months of 2022, China exported 593,000 new energy vehicles, doubling year-on-year, and accounting for 21.3% of total exports. The price competitiveness of China's electric vehicles mainly lies in a complete supply chain system and a leading edge in production rhythm. European electric vehicles repeat the mistakes of the photovoltaic industry. Carlos Tavares warned that if the European Union does not take any action to change the current situation, the European auto industry will do what the European solar module industry once did. I think we've seen this movie before. It's a very dark scene. But it doesn't have to be that way. Europe's PV installed capacity has been growing, but as Europe's reliance on Chinese PV imports has become more serious, calls for the establishment of a European PV manufacturing base have recently grown louder. China currently controls 80% of the world's solar photovoltaic manufacturing capacity, and its global market share in polysilicon and silicon ingots will soon reach nearly 95%. Carlos Tavares explained that EU emissions policies are to blame for this. Regulations in Europe ensure that electric cars made in Europe are around 40% more expensive than comparable cars made in China. What Carlos Tavares said is actually a bit exaggerated. In fact, the electric vehicles produced by European manufacturers in China are also not competitive enough. At present, Europeans can go two ways, Carlos Tavares said. If you keep the European market open, then we have no choice, then we have to fight the Chinese directly. This applies to the entire automotive value chain. Then the consequences are very serious. This will inevitably lead to unpopular decisions. Capacity will have to be reduced and factories will have to be relocated to more favorable locations. Another option is the reindustrialization of Europe, that is, the restoration of lost industries and production chains. If that's what you want, then the EU has a lot of work to do, so a different trade policy is needed. German industry in particular would not be keen on such a restrictive trade policy against China, which would greatly affect the European activities in China. In fact, the situation is not that serious. Europe sold about 2.3 million new energy vehicles in 2022. Apart from Tesla, local European manufacturers will dominate, and Chinese brands will account for a small proportion. Carlos Tavares explained that the direction must now be determined. At the end of the day, this challenge is like making a circle into a square. In the current context, if the EU does nothing, then there will be a terrible battle. According to Carlos Tavares, simply put, if the EU does not adopt policy support, European cars will inevitably decline in the era of electric vehicles. Do you agree with him? What's your opinion on this issue? Okay, that's all for today. Please put your comments below, and share your insightful ideas with other people. Do you want to learn about more auto stories? Please keep following our channel and like our videos. Thank you so much for your continuous support. Your precious time with us is highly appreciated. See you.